while we're seeking the common good of our society, has been replaced with protecting one's turf and political expediency, where public policy and social behavior of the individual and corporately are being redefined by a value system that drifts farther and farther from the intentions and the instructions of the Almighty Creator. Where family, which was designed by God to be the backbone of a well-functioning and healthy society, is being relegated to unimportance or irrelevance, or even worse, an institution that is being supplanted by the state. Family is important. The institution of the family is fraying at the edges as cultural forces are pulling at its very fabric. The American family has undergone a dramatic transformation as more adults are delaying marriage, there's more divorce, more cohabitation, fewer married couples produce children. The effects of the so-called sexual revolution has redefined courtship and sex and marriage and family life. Many of our problems that we experience, our social problems especially, have their ultimate origin in family dysfunction. Poverty, teen sex, out of wedlock pregnancies, drug abuse, alcoholism, teen suicide. There's lack of adequate role models, the glorification of a me-first culture, the unbridled pursuit of pleasure, the unwillingness to take responsibilities for one's actions and decisions, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, relational abuse. All of these things stem from a brokenness in the very basic structure of God's divine in individuals and in relationships, especially that most important relationship, our family relationships. Public policy strategies try to address and deal with just a few problems, but the problem is that the list of those things that they try to put in place could go on and on. And minimizing the role of fathers, minimizing the role of unified families only serves to add to the fuel of family dysfunctionality. What I share today is more than just opinion or a value. It is that established by God Himself. There are three institutions that we see in the Bible established by God: the family, the church, and government. God's design from the beginning of creation was for a mother and father to unselfishly love one another, and for children to be brought into that family unit learning the same. And before I pray and before I continue, I just want to also make a comment about government and the role of government. In a free society, the state is charged as the protector of individuals' rights.
Yes.
In other words, the state has certain rights which have been delegated to it by the individuals. For example, if individuals want the local government to provide fire protection and law enforcement, then we delegate that responsibility to them, and then we also put in place a reasonable tax levy to pay for that. In a free society, state rights are not held by the state and mandated upon the individuals. That's socialism. Right. If this were true, then states could grant rights or withdraw rights at their whim and whimsy. No longer would God-given rights be recognized, but it would be state-given rights. In this way, the state becomes more important than God. The only way to ensure that the state does not overstep its authority is to always approach any discussion, including the discussion that we're going to be having today, with the underlying value of limited government. Government authority, government power is not a right. It is something that is on loan from us, we the people.
Woo!
Government
Yeah.
and public policies should pursue justice. This means that the government has a responsibility to address evil acts, to protect the citizenry from the oppressive acts of the government and others, to address social and economic conditions that unjustly limit people in their actual opportunity to live lives of freedom and responsible action. This is what limited government means. The Bible speaks very clearly about God's heart and concern for those who cannot protect themselves, especially the young and the aged. That is why there is a place for the state to be involved in efforts such as that taken care of by Children and Family Services. But this authority is delegated. It should be limited in nature, and it should be accountable to the society for my understanding that Montana has twice the national average of kids being separated from their families. We may express outrage over that statistic, and we should, but the most important questions to ask are what is causing that higher number, and what can we do to fix it? As in most problems, there is no easy answer, otherwise it probably already would have been taken care of. Yes, there are problems in CPS. Any bureaucracy has opportunities for improvement. Yes, there are policy changes that need addressing. Yes, our drug problem is spinning out of control. Yes, our shifting values from a God-defined family is making those changes and complicating a return to health. Yes, politics seems to play an oversized role in decision making. But playing the blame game never gets us to a desired future unless we are willing to take action, to do something about it, to address the core issues and the core causes at the core level. And that's the only way we will see a sustainable and a reasonable reduction in children being taken from dysfunctional families.
Woo!
Our kids
Yep.
are crying out loud.
Dysfunctional
That's
families.
why we are here today. It is our responsibility as adults to undergird and support healthy families, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, to pursue justice, to address social conditions in a way that is more than just physical, but includes the entirety of the whole person. The physical, the emotional, the psychological, the relational, and yes, even the spiritual. So let's open up with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, Lord, this subject matter that we are talking about is a subject matter that is near and dear to your heart. Protecting our children, undergirding and supporting our families, strengthening our families. So Lord, may we be more than just loud voices. May we be people more than just walking a protest line, but may we be people who are willing to be people of action. And Lord, may we do it in such a way that brings people into our fold, brings people that have a heart for your children. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.